Now, looking ahead, the European Championship is the next event on the calendar, gets underway on Thursday in Germany. Michael van Gerwen goes in search of a third consecutive TV ranking title. He's not won this event since 2017, but is this going to be the year that he wins a record fifth European Championship title?
Yeah, and if you go back to that 2017 one, he was very fortunate to win it that year, because if you look back in the semifinals, Kyle Anderson threw the 9-darter, had 2 darts to beat him, one of which just missed out on the wire in the semifinal, and that could have changed things. And, that really was the beginning of Michael van Gerwen's starting to show some vulnerability. Obviously, over the next couple of years, he continued to win things, but he wasn't winning at that same clip after that European Championship that he just got through. It's taken until around now for him to get back to playing at or near that level that he had been in 2015, 2016, leading into that European Championship. That said, while he might be playing about where he was in 2017, maybe a little bit below, the rest of the field's just so much better. And, right off the bat, his first match is against Chris Dobey. How is Chris Dobey the 31st seed? Well, because it's just that difficult. Chris Dobey's looked like a player who's moving on the up again. He did stagnate a little bit over the last couple of years, but he looks like he's moving back towards being a top 20 player like he had been 24 months ago. And that's the first round opponent who just sneaking into this field, because just getting to the European Tour events is difficult. And if he gets through that, there's the potential grudge match against Jose de Sousa. And you just heard from Dan Dawson. But Dan, I can't remember if Dan said it while we were recording or when we were off, or when we were not recording, but Jose's loves to get revenge on people who say stuff about him. And he's been playing a bit better recently. That's a potential tough match in the second round. And then if he gets through that, look at Johnny Clayton, Gabriel Clemens, Dave Chisnell, Stephen Bunting, all potentially wait in the quarterfinals. Chizzy's won a Euro Tour and a floor title in the last month and a half. Bunting, I really think, has been threatening something big for some time now. Maybe it'll be this week. Gabriel Clemens is back playing near his best, and Johnny Clayton is still one of the 8 best players in the world, and on any given day can look like the best player in the world. And that's just to get out of his quarter. It's going to be difficult. Michael van Gerwen is playing better than he has probably at any point since that 2017 European Championship or shortly thereafter. But I don't think, as I said last week, his confidence is fully back, which is why I think he said those things about Jose de Sousa. It's why he's talking a big game, because he doesn't feel that his confidence, or at least I think he doesn't feel that his confidence is matching the results he's been getting. I don't know why, but it just seems that way. He absolutely can go and win this event. He's the best player on paper in it, but there's a lot of people that, even if van Gerwen is playing near as can and could and very likely will beat him if they also are playing their best. And I'm going to say no. I think he will win another major this year. I do not think, though, it'll be this one.
Yeah, it's a difficult one. And looking at this tournament, how dominant Michael van Gerwen was from 2014 to 2017. He won it 4 years on the spin, but as I mentioned, he's not won it since then. And he holds the record with Phil Taylor on 4 titles 5 years ago. After he won that 4th in a row, you're expecting Michael van Gerwen to have that record by himself by now. But players that have beaten him the last 4 years, Steve West, Ross Smith, Ian White, and then Rob Cross in the final last year, there's been some inspired performances against him. And I remember that Ross Smith one from 2019. Both players played very well in that game. And 2017, that was the last year that Michael won 3 TV ranking events in a row. He's on for the hat-trick again this weekend after winning the World Match Play and the World Grand Prix. And obviously the goal for him is to get back to that world number one. And that spot could change hands again this weekend. I think Peter Wright needs a minimum semi-final run as his money from winning this event 2 years ago. That's dropping off this weekend. So we could see the world number one spot change hands for a 4th time this year, Gerwyn Price taking it back unless Peter Wright has a good run. But as far as Michael, another title on TV, it would edge him closer to those 2 above him and keep the confidence building as we get closer to the World Championships, which is where we could see him get that number 1 spot back if he goes and lifts a 4th world title. But as far as this one, it's going to be a difficult weekend for him because he's in the same half of the draw as Peter Wright and Gerwyn Price. You've also got players that you mentioned there, Johnny Clayton, Dimitri Vandenberg, Joe Cullen, Dave Chisnell, who's won a few titles this year, Chris Dobie first up as well, and then the potential of Jose de Souza or Martin Schindler just to make the final day. And it could be Johnny Clayton in the quarterfinals, then it could be one of Peter Wright or Gerwyn Price just to get through to the final. So it's a tough looking route to the title, and the bookmakers, they do have Michael as the favourite 5-1, Price and Wright in the same quarter, they're 7-1, and then interestingly enough, Dirk Van Dijvenbode, Johnny Clayton, Michael Smith, they're next, and then Josh Rock 20-1 TV debut to win the whole thing. But I'm going to go with you. I don't think we're going to see Michael win this title this weekend. I think it will be to someone else. I think to win 3 of these in a row TV ranking events, it takes some doing now in the PDC, and I may be proven wrong, and I'll hold my hands up next week if I am, but I don't see Michael lifting the title this week. And I think this and the Grand Slam, they're 2 events which have eluded MVG for a little while now. Not sure why those 2 in particular, but 5 years without winning either of them. And yeah, I just think this recent dominance of the TV events is going to come to an end this weekend.